Hello, this is Bethany Daly with Getting It Pegged, bringing you an adventure in loom knitting. And today we're going to learn all about how to make a bobble on your knitted project. I tried some different bobbles out and just worked with them for a while, and I figured out this particular way of making bobbles that really makes a nice big fluffy bobble, and it really just pops from your project. So I'd like to share that with you today. So all I have done here is cast on, and I've knit several rows, and then I've actually done one bobble so far. And then we're going to just go ahead and in this very next row create a bobble. And I'll show you what it looks like after we're done. So I've just knit, I put a couple foundation rows or stitches outside of our actual bobble pegs. The bobble pegs are these three that are within the blue markers. Okay. So I'm going to knit these two outside pegs. Okay. Now even though we have these extra pegs out here, we're going to number our bobble pegs 1, 2, 3 from the direction that we're going, because actually with these instructions you can knit them from either direction. So and you just start counting 1, 2, 3. Like if you were coming from this direction, from left to right, then you'd start. This would be 1, 2, and 3. But we're going this direction, so this peg is 1, 2, and 3 from right to left. Okay, so that'll just help you for when you want to knit bobbles in any way. So we're going to knit the bobble pegs 1 through 3. And then we want to decrease it down at the bottom. So I'm going to move the loop from peg 1 to peg 2. Of the bobbles, and then the loop from peg 3 also to peg 2, and then we are going to knit those two off of the peg. Okay, now we're going to increase back to the 2. So in order to have a nice tight stitch for when we knit the next row, we're going to do a half hitch cast on onto these pegs rather than say an E-wrap. Oops. Oh yes, onto these pegs. All right, so the way to do that is to hold your working yarn like this and pinch it like this, so with your pointer finger and your thumb, and just give it a twist. And now you see that your working yarn is coming from underneath the loop. That's what we want. That helps lock it in place and makes it a nice snug cast on. It's a great way to add a stitch to any individual peg. All right, now we're going to come back and we're going to knit peg 2 of the bobble. And we're going to do another half hitch cast on onto peg 3. Just like that. And see, the working yarn is coming from the bottom. Okay, now we're going to knit again 1 through 3. And back again 3 through 1. And then 1 through 3 again. Okay, now we're going to decrease at the top of the bobble. So we're going to take the loop from peg 1 and move it to peg 2, and the loop from peg 2 or 3 also to peg 2, and then knit off those 2 loops over 1 like this. All right, now the bobble itself is completed, and we're going to take our working yarn and put it between pegs 2 and 3 and keep it there. Now in order to close the gap between our foundation row and the next row that we want to knit and make that bobble its circular shape rather than a long like I-cord looking thing, we're going to come to the inside and pull up 3 loops. So let's see, the one that we want. I'm going to give it a little pull. And see, this is the traveling yarn from this stitch to the other stitch that used to be there. And I'm going to grab that other stitch. And that's what I'm going to put up onto peg 3. Make sure I've just grabbed from that one yarn. There we go. And then, keep our working yarn between 2 and 3 there. And then we're going to do the same at the base of the bobble. We're going to find, as best we can, the loop that's at the base. It's kind of hidden really well under there. And it doesn't have to be super precise, just as best as you can get it. I think I like this one right here. And I'm gonna pull that up onto the peg. And then we're going to find the loop for peg 1. See, here's our connecting line. So I'm gonna go to the stitch right next to the connecting line. And that is going to get pulled up. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get just the right loops on your hook. And then that goes on peg 1. So now we have loops on all 3 of our bobble pegs and 2 loops on the middle one. And that's okay, because this one we're going to ignore for now, and it's going to get knit off along with this one when we knit the row coming back. So we're just going to finish off the bobble by knitting peg 3 of the bobble pegs like this. Okay, and then we'll knit the next 2 in line. Okay, and we've completed our bobble. Now when we come back and knit whatever row you have next in your project, when you get to this peg that is the center of your bobble peg, you're just going to take and knit off 2 over 1. And you can shove that bobble inside like that. And then knit off. And then continue knitting your row. Okay, I'm going to go back one more time just to give a little bit more space between the bobble and the pegs when we go look at it. Okay, so let's take a look on the underside and see what we've done. Okay, so see, this is the bobble I created before. Isn't that cute? And then this is the one that we just created, and it's still kind of stretched out on the pegs because it's not far enough down from the loom. Now, what I like to do to finish off the bobbles, just to give them a final work at getting their a perfect little round shape, is just go to the side and pull out the side of each of the left and the right side, because those stitches like to curl under, and then we're just going to pull them out like so, and then squish it down, and then that makes a little bubble that really pops outside of your work and just stands out and looks so sweet. Isn't that great? I love it. It's so full and fun. All right, so that is how to make a bobble on your loom that is really just going to give a lot of pizzazz to whatever project you're working on. Thanks so much for joining us, and definitely check over at GettinItPegged.com for lots more tutorials and project ideas. And we'll see you next time. Happy looming!